For years, I broke the same EDC rule over and over again, and I convinced myself it was preparedness. But the truth is, it wasn't making me more ready, it was making me more heavier, slower, and distracted. Once I finally stopped breaking this rule, my EDC got simpler and way more effective. Let's talk about the one rule I finally learned to respect. Welcome to Not Another EDC Podcast, where everyday carry meets everyday life. I'm Mikey, a husband, a father, an EDC content creator, and gear enthusiast. Today's episode is about a rule that I ignored for a long time and how breaking it was quietly holding my EDC back. What's that rule? It's simple. If I don't use it regularly, it doesn't belong on my body, or in my fanny pack, or my sling bags. Now, let me clarify something. I'm not talking about firearms or IFAKs. Those are non-negotiables for me. Those are life safety tools, and they stay. I will say this, though. I'm a strong advocate for training with your gear. Owning a firearm doesn't automatically make someone responsible. Consistent training is what builds real preparedness. It keeps you grounded in the legal, moral, and real-world responsibility that comes with carrying every day. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but any competent legal professional would tell you the same thing. If you're going to carry, you need to know and understand the laws, the risks, the consequences. Training is where this all starts. That same mindset applies to IFAKs, individual first aid kits. Now, buying medical gear feels responsible, but knowing what's inside it and how to use it under stress is actually what makes it responsible. Whenever I receive a first aid kit that's sent to me or one that I buy myself, I go through every single component. Why? Because I want to know what it's for. I want to know when to use it and how it works in real world scenarios. I'm also CPR certified for the same reason. So I'm responding and not guessing. That's the real point here. Ownership without understanding is false preparedness. Real preparedness comes from familiarity, repetition, and responsibility. Now back to everything else we justify as just in case. So here's exactly why I kept breaking this rule, and that number one thing, the just in case trap. I used to tell myself I was being responsible. What if I need this? What if that happens? And suddenly my pockets look like a mobile hardware store, including my sling bags and backpacks. Here's where a lot of us get EDC wrong, myself included. We prepare for unlikely emergencies and ignore daily friction. What's daily friction? Daily friction is a dead phone, dirty glasses, a loose screw, needing light, or needing to write something. Now, unlikely emergencies matter, and I'll say that again. Firearms and IFAKs are staples for me personally. They don't rotate, they don't get debated. Where I went wrong was letting fear dictate everything else. Preparedness is calm. Fear is loud. Fear says, carry everything. Preparedness says, carry what supports the life you actually live. Most days aren't emergencies, they're inconveniences. EDC should reduce friction, not increase anxiety. It should simplify your day and not weigh it down. Once I separated fear from preparedness, my carry finally made sense. The second thing is EDC as an identity. Now, this is the hard truth. Some of what I carried wasn't about use. It was about identity. Looking prepared, feeling prepared, signaling capability. Social media has done a lot of good for EDC. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer about social media, but it's also blurred the lines between looking capable and being capable. Pocket dumps are curated. Real life is not. Real life happens fast in bad lighting, with distractions, sometimes with one hand occupied if you're a parent. Capability isn't how gear looks on the table. Capability is familiarity. Capability is repetition. Capability is knowing exactly what you have and how to use it without thinking. When I stopped caring for the camera and started caring for my actual life, everything changed. My EDC stopped being a collection and it started becoming a system. The third thing is the cost of over carrying. Here's what breaking that rule actually cost me. Slower access, less comfort, more mental clutter, less confidence in what mattered. Heavy pockets create a mental fatigue. The more gear you carry, the more decisions you introduce. Which pocket, which tool? Did I move it to this side? Did I move it to that bag? That decision overload creates noise. and noise kills awareness. When I simplified my carry, I didn't lose preparedness, I gained clarity. Now, what changed when I stopped breaking these rules? Well, first, my EDC got faster. When everything you carry has a job, access becomes instinct. Muscle memory doesn't come from carrying more, it comes from carrying the things consistently. Every time you rotate too many items or add something just in case, you reset that muscle memory. Preparedness isn't about variety, it's about repetition. Fewer items also means fewer decisions, and fewer decisions means faster reactions. Speed isn't just training, it's removing hesitation. And most of the time, my struggle wasn't lacking the right tool, it was fumbling. When your carry is simple and familiar, everything feels smoother. You can move with confidence. You don't draw attention to yourself. That's when EDC actually supports you instead of distracting you. The second thing is my confidence improved tremendously. I stopped second guessing my setup. If you guys follow my channel, you guys watch a lot of my bag videos, and a lot of the stuff that I carry in my bags are the same stuff. Trust doesn't come from hoping you brought the right thing. It comes from knowing your tools will work because you use them repeatedly. Repetition turns gear from objects into extensions of yourself or your person. So fewer variables means less friction, and less friction frees your attention to what actually matters, which is awareness, judgment, and presence. The last thing it really did for me was preparedness became intentional. Preparedness stopped being about coverage and started being about clarity. Every item I carry had a purpose tied to real life, not movie scene scenarios. Preparedness is layered. So on body for immediacy, off body for support, vehicle gear for depth. Once you understand that, you stop trying to make your pockets do everything because you build systems. And when gear has a permanent home, hesitation disappears. That's real preparedness. Now, here's the bigger takeaway. The mistake wasn't carrying too much. It was carrying without intention. EDC matures when your carry reflects your real life, not your fear, not your feed. Guys, instead of doing what's in my truck, I decided that for 2026, I'm going to start doing challenges. So for this episode and for the next, let's say 72 hours, don't change your carry. Note what you actually use. Notice what slows you down. Then ask yourself, what did I use? What didn't I touch? What added friction? And once you do that, drop them down in the comments down below with what that realization was. Lastly, stopping this one rule changed my EDC completely. Less noise, more clarity. Carry what supports your life, not what complicates it. This is Not Another EDC Podcast. First episode for 2026. Happy New Year to you all. Stay aware, stay prepared. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out. Welcome back.